Oh my fucking word, I'm out and about. It's just come on to Talk Sport that Bruno has just signed a new 5-year deal with Newcastle United. And as you can see from the voice, still not fully recuperated from the other evening against Paris Saint-Germain at St James's Park. Oh my word, fucking sang for the entirety of the 100 minutes in total or whatever. Before the match, during half time, just never ever stopped, never gave up, singing, chanting, screaming. I'm a little bit worse for wear, but I hope everybody else out there is okay. I'm certainly on cloud 9. The voice isn't holding up too great, but I am on cloud 9. This run of form since the Brighton fucking disaster, since it literally the shit hit the fan in that game, it has gone absolutely spectacularly right for Newcastle United. And today, again, it just feels like another just forward click of momentum in the news breaking as I'm out and about now that Bruno has signed a 5-year contract. New contract will be on for a lot more money. But it's great to hear him talking about how settled, how happy he is in Newcastle, how happy he is with the project, and you know how he can make and lay and put plans in place for his kids to go to school. You know, he's looking long term. This doesn't sound like a player who's just looking for a release clause so that he can move on to somewhere else or pastures new, you know, at the first possible opportunity. It's fantastic news. It really is. Absolutely delighted. He's back to his very best. I mean, to be fair, when people were saying, oh, he's having a couple of dodgy games, he was still really good. It's just by normal Bruno standards, isn't it? He is arguably one of the best midfielders that I ever seen in a black and white shirt. He's world class, and there's no doubt in my mind that the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, everybody who's worth the salt would be sniffing around him because he's a cracking player. He's a good player. So good players are going to attract that interest. I've no doubt about it. So yeah, keep sniffing around, do all you want, because like I said, he seems like a really, really like a family man. You know, he had his dad there in the video with the Newcastle United, stuff that they've put out today. His dad's obviously very important in his story, the number 39 and all that it goes into. Check it out if you haven't already. It's absolutely fantastic, the stuff the club has put out. But he talks a lot about his kids, a lot about his wife and everything. And to me, I've always joked on happy wife, happy life. Wife settled, family settled, all his parents are settled. His dad's as big of a celebrity as what he is, So, again, massive news for Newcastle United. It just shows you it's another example of where the club is going, and he talks about that in the social media stuff that he's put out. This club is going places. The project is fantastic, and there isn't for me many projects in world football that is appealing and as wets the palate as much as what the Newcastle United project is. So he knows he's going to be the centre, the focal point of that for years moving forward. And this sort of news will help attract even more players. One of the best midfielders committing to Newcastle United, committing to the project, and saying, this is where it's going to be at, this is where the action is going to be. It will help, no doubt about it, in sort of recruiting other players, other great players, attracting other players into the Newcastle United project. So happy days. We do have a game. We do have a game tomorrow. Was going to be doing a preview for that separately, but with the Bruno news, wrap both together with a nice bow on it and stuff like that. Like I say, I was just trying to get the voice as much time as possible to recuperate before doing it. But yeah, fantastic result, wasn't it? Absolutely fucking delighted. I was over the moon, despite the fact it took me an extra 2.5 hours, thanks to the great idea of having a strike, a bus strike, a rail strike, and the fucking A1 South being shut all at one time. I rolled in 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was still absolutely fucking loving it up, lapping it up, and everything else like that. Still happy and delighted about it. Arguably the best atmosphere I've ever experienced at St James's Park, and that's a high bar. Arguably one of the best results ever at St James's Park. And you've got to pinch yourself. Today's, of course, the anniversary, 2 years since we got took over, and we've gone from literally balls deep in a relegation battle up to battling it out with, potential Champions League winners and destroying them, the Magpie stuff, all that sort of thing in such a short period of time. It's unfucking believable. It really, really is. But yeah, looking towards this weekend's game, we've got the West Ham match to sort of take care of and get the points from before an international break. I'll touch upon the international stuff actually a little bit now. Southgate again showing his Newcastle United. Well, not bias, because he certainly doesn't do that. Opposite, whatever it is, the fucking opposite to bias. Hatred, he's fucking vendetta. I don't know what it is, but, he's still picking his fucking mates, isn't he? He's still picking his mates. It's funny enough, I'm actually parked on a road at the moment. Call Southgate, actually. A little thing to throw in there. But yeah, he's still picking his mates. He's still picking his players who aren't getting any action. Yeah, players like Anthony Gordon, I do not understand how he does not get a sniff around. I don't know if Jimmy Nail's banging Gareth Southgate's misses or something like that. I don't know what's going on. Does he not like Ant and Deck? Does he not fancy Greg Sausage Roll? Is he not a fan? I don't know. There is something with Gareth Southgate. He has got some sort of thing in for any Newcastle United player. Kieran Trippier was announced. Congratulations for Kieran Trippier to be in that squad. But I understand Wilson. He's not been fit recently for the last game or two. He's going to have missed out. Understand that one. But Anthony Gordon, when you include in Rashford, who is playing absolutely diabolically, you've got other players like Phillips in there, and I knew for a fact Maguire would be in, because he stuck up for him before, and he said, the fact that he stuck up for him and put such a fierce defence up for the player, you just knew that the next squad he wasn't going to not put him in, even if he played no minutes. But it just goes against the mantra of when he first got the job and talked about informed players, and now you had to be doing it at the highest possible level to get into the squad. There are players who are doing so great at Newcastle United, and they just do not get an opportunity, and that is an absolutely an undoubted fact. It is a statement. And then you've got the Elliot Anderson situation, where he's umming and ahhing between Scotland and England, but you know where he's going to get the most football and the most experience and everything else and the most opportunities at. Despite the fact that he's a Geordie, born in England, but he's got that situation to weigh up. But it's so difficult to get into these squads, like I say, when he picks his favourites. So yeah, let me know what you think down below about Anthony Gordon. Has he been treated a bit unfairly? Let me know down below in the comments. There are others who you could make an argument for, but I think the argument for Anthony Gordon is absolutely undoubted and obvious. But yeah, honestly, go figure. Absolutely and utterly a pure fanny face, that bloke. I can't stand him. I honestly think for England, if they had a better manager than Gareth Southgate, they'd have won something already. I just think he bottles it when it comes to the bigger games. I really do. Don't want this to become an England rant, but that's my feelings. I wouldn't want him at St James's Park. If Eddie Howe ever did move on, I obviously don't want that to happen. He's doing a fucking great, fantastic job, despite the likes of what fucking fanny face, the likes of Simon fucking Jordan say. He's doing an amazing job, and he can take us all the way, I have no doubt about it. But if he ever was to move on, if the FA ever were to poach him for the England manager's job, say, I wouldn't want Southgate anywhere near our technical area. The man is an absolutely and utterly inept, biased moron. So yeah, let me know what you think about that moron down below, and how fantastic of a job that Eddie Howe was doing on Tyneside down below in the comments. But yeah, this weekend we are missing still about 9 players. Add to that, Anthony Gordon is suspended for this game. He's going to get a nice break. I suppose it benefits Newcastle United between now and our next game after the international break. We could have done with him, I think, down in London against West Ham. He's one of the most informed players in the entire league. He's ripping it up, electrifying pace, doing things with a purpose. He's rapid, he gets all over the place, he fits into our system and our intensity and into our press so well. And it's going to be a big call now into who comes in to replace him, because obviously he got the 5th yellow card, he's got a match suspension. It is difficult to predict who will play, because there is going to be aches, knocks, injuries from the PSG game. Add to that a lengthy injury list, and add into that as well the fact that Eddie Howe's been very coy with Callum Wilson's availability and Joe Linton's now. Allegedly, they are close. They will have late fitness tests. We all saw Callum Wilson joining in with crew training on, when was it? Tuesday. So I've got to think, especially after what I saw on his podcast thing, that he must fancy the fact that, you know, he's going to be involved in the squad, in the team. And he always scores, doesn't he, against West Ham, and that's got to come into it as well. So for me, I wouldn't be surprised to see Wilson line up. I wouldn't be surprised to see Joe Linton line up. Will both start? Will one start on the bench and one, you know, start the match? That's perhaps a possibility. Isak has been carrying a knock. He then got an absolute blow to the head, didn't he, against PSG. So for rotation, that's, I think, a possibility. But the team I think he'll go with is Nick Pope in goal. I hope his kicking has improved a little bit. It got against PSG, there was times he was literally just hoofing it out. I don't know whether that was an instruction from the sidelines or what, but he just seemed to be launching it and it went out every single time. So hopefully his kicking is on par. He's been fantastic for us. Great shot stopper, great keeper. But yeah, the kicking was a little bit off, wasn't it, against PSG, if we're nitpicking. But he'll be in goal, no doubt about it. Dubravka back on the bench. Across the back, I think he'll just continue to keep going with what's worked so well. Kieran Trippier, one of the best players. Again, you know, talk about Anthony Gordon, one of the form players in the Premier League. Kieran Trippier is definitely in that bracket as well. The assists that he's getting, he's got, I think, the second highest most assists from right back is unbelievable. So he's got to be in there. So Kieran Trippier right back. The middle of defence, I think, pretty much picks itself. It'll be Jamal Lascelles again standing in for Sven Botman, who is out injured, beside Fabian Schär, who for me, by Nance Snob, because there was so many contenders for it, but man of the match against PSG, Fabian Schär. What a fucking beautiful of a thundercunt bending effort around the keeper. What a beautiful goal that was, and what a bargain. 3 million quid we paid for him. Oh my word, when you think of some of the money we've absolutely wasted on the boom songs of the world. Fucking hell. But yeah, so Trippier right back, Lascelles, Fabian Schär and Dan Burn at left back. No doubt they will target him like everybody seems to, but again, thought it was absolutely fantastic. I don't see the defence changing. You know, you could bring Target in very, very easily. He would give you a little bit more of a complete left back as opposed to Dan Burn, but I think Dan Burn will keep his place yet again. He'll keep on going, keep on motoring with the prospect of a break, you know, to rest some tired legs coming up. Then into midfield, and there's not a great deal of options really, is there? Yes, Elliot Anderson, come on, he looked absolutely fantastic. He could play out on the left-hand side, Elliot Anderson, but again, using the same logic that I used for the PSG game, if you play Elliot Anderson from the start and you need to make a substitution, it means rejiggling things and removing things on the pitch. I think Elliot Anderson will be on the bench, although some of the touches were unbelievable. He played really well when he came on against PSG. But I think he'll want a central midfield option on the bench, Eddie Howe, to be able to change things and to rest legs in the second half. So I think Anderson will be on the bench. So I think my midfield three that he will go with will be Bruno, it will be Tonyali, and it will be Sean Longstaff. So again, expecting a lot from the lads. Again, you're looking at Tonyali. He's not training at the moment. He's literally just playing games. So he is obviously carrying an injury, a bit of a situation. It's not helping his integration. It's not helping him get up to speed. But he's still playing amazingly well. He's still playing absolutely fantastically. So imagine when he is training with the rest of the team, how great he's going to be. You know, unbelievable. I know we've got Joe Linton back, but I think if my other pick starts, then Joe Linton perhaps is on the bench. But again, Joe Linton could play out wide, couldn't he? Don't think he will. Don't think he'll take the risk. Not with this break coming up where you can rest him a little bit more. But yeah, the three in midfield: Bruno, Tonyali, Sean Longstaff, and then either side, Miguel Almiron. When he's hot, he's hot. When he's on a run, he's on an absolute amazing run, and you don't drop him when he's on a run. So Miggy's got to be in that side. What a great strike! I know people criticise his finishing, but yeah, he is one of them sort of form players. When he's scoring, he'll just go on a run. So keep putting him in. He's last 3 games or so he's scored. It was a great finish against PSG. He plays again. On the opposite side, who replaces Anthony Gordon? I think you'll go with Jacob Murphy. I know predominantly he plays on the other side, but he can play there no problem. Him and Miggy can swap and swap places and stuff like that. So I think Jacob Murphy on the left hand side. Then up top, Callum Wilson. The record he's got against West Ham, he loves it. There's the whole banter going on between him and for West Ham. And yeah, I expect to see a few Carlton dancers. If you've seen the clip from his podcast that he's done, you'll understand why. So yeah, Callum Wilson up top, and then that rests up Isak and gives him a little bit of protection, if anything else, because he is carrying a knock. He did get a whack to his head the other day. So for me, I think Isak will be on the bench. I know you could strongly make an argument for Isak playing on the left-hand side, Callum Wilson up top, but again, I don't see him doing that. I think he will try to protect some players' minutes in the legs and stuff. So Isak on the bench, Joe Linton on the bench, Elliot Anderson on the bench. So options to be able to bring off the bench in the second half. Hopefully when Newcastle United are a few goals ahead. They are on a good run of form as well at the moment. They are playing in Europe. They played a day later than us against, I think it was Freiburg from Germany. So it's not going to be easy. They lost a massive player, didn't they, in Declan Rice, but they've reinvested the money and they're having a better season this season than last season. They're a good team. It will be a difficult game. They do concede a few goals, so we need to get about them. And I do see a few goals in the game. I know that Jack on his preview went for 4-1. Very confident. I like the confidence. I really, really do. I think a 2-1 this game. For Newcastle United to come away with the points, and it will have been an amazing run and an amazing response to what went on down at Brighton. So very important we get the 3 points and just trying to cement our place in the top half of the table. Again, very early days, isn't it, with regards to the Premier League table, but that would be a great thing for Newcastle United. It would just top off a nice little block, a nice little run of fixtures, and then it's just a case of surviving the international break before Newcastle United are back into action again. So let me know what you think will be the team against West Ham. The voice is fading, the voice is going again. Keep losing my voice. It's a pain in the arse, it really is. But I wouldn't swap it for anything. What an amazing time as a Newcastle United fan it has been recently. I just want it to continue. So safe journey down to everybody who's travelling down there. Let me know your team down below. Let me know what you think about the whole international situation, the likes of Anthony Gordon not being called up. Fucking madness, isn't it? Absolutely madness. Yeah, what's the score going to be? Let me know down below in the comments. Thank you to everybody who has subscribed as well. We have broken through the 2,000 mark, which I have been asking for so long. You know, so many people watch the videos, don't subscribe, but yeah, we've got over that 2,000, so thank you ever so much. Please do continue to subscribe if you haven't already, as we continue to try and build the channel up, build the subs up. We appreciate your support, and we know how many fantastic content creators there are out there, how many different Newcastle United brands are out there. So we do appreciate you taking the time to hit the subscribe button. So I think that is it. I'll leave it there. We'll be back to do the review after the West Ham game, hopefully after another 3 points, and hopefully the voice is feeling a little bit better. But yeah, in the meantime, take care, keep it tuned, and I'll speak to you later.